The Council's blade. The kill team arrives. The storm came at dawn. Not the acid monsoons of Zeros, 9, but the thunder of Council dropships piercing the violet sky. Jace's neural link with Korix flared, a wave of aggression from the Vor Alpha. "They're here for us," growled Lyra, tightening the straps on her scavenged armor. Jace's implant buzzed, translating Korix's rumbling snarls into pulses of intent. The metal ones bring death. Through the cave's bioluminescent fungi, Jace counted 6 armored figures moving in perfect sync, Galactic Black Ops, the Council's wetwork squad. Their leader's visor reflected the crimson dunes as he voxed. "Commander Veldrin. By order of Chancellor Draxus, you are hereby terminated for treason." Jace grinned. "Tell Draxus I'll return the favor." First blood. The Black Ops fired. Plasma rounds seared the caves, turning stalactites into molten rain. Jace rolled behind cover, but Korix moved faster. The Alpha lunged, its claws shearing through a soldier's armor like foil. The pack followed, their quicksilver bodies blurring into the gunfire. Yet the assassins adapted. One injected himself with a neural booster, his reflexes matching the Vor's. He grappled Korix, driving a vibroblade toward the beast's spine. Jace's world exploded in shared pain. Through their bond, he felt the steel bite into Korix's flesh. He screamed, but so did the assassin, because Jace's implant retaliated, flooding the soldier's nervous system with Vor rage. The man convulsed, his veins turning black before he burst into flames. "What the hell was that?" Lyra yelled. Jace panted, watching his own hands twitch with Korix's instincts. "We're merging. The mutation begins." Back in the caves, the colonists treated Korix's wounds, but Jace's own back burned where the blade had struck. Lyra peeled back his armor and froze. "Your skin." Jace twisted to see. Iridescent scales now traced his spine, pulsing in sync with Korix's breathing. The neural bond wasn't just mental. It was rewriting his DNA. Korix's voice growled in his skull, "You are becoming pack." A colonist whispered, "He's turning into one of them." Lyra met Jace's eyes. "Can you still pilot a ship?" Jace flexed his hands, "Still human, for now." "Better question, can we steal one?" The Chancellor's secret. That night, Jace's dreams weren't his own. Through Korix's memories, he saw Chancellor Draxus standing over a younger, smaller Vor, Korix's sibling, in a sterile lab. Subject Alpha 2 shows promising aggression, Draxus mused, before plunging a syringe into its eye. The memory shattered as real-world gunfire echoed outside. Another team had landed. The escape plan. Lyra activated a holographic map from salvaged tech. "There's a Council Science outpost 20 clicks east. If we take it, we can signal the outer colonies." "No," Jace interrupted. "We go to Solstice Station." The colonists gasped. Solstice was the Council's black site prison, orbiting a black hole. "Why there?" Lyra demanded. Jace touched his scales. "Because Draxus is keeping something worse than Vor locked up there. And if we free it..." Korix's growl vibrated through the cave. "We tear the galaxy apart." Cliffhanger, the hybrid awakens. As they prepared to move, Jace's vision doubled. One moment, he saw the cave, the next, a starfield from orbit, Korix's pack site, linking every Vor on the planet. Then new pain erupted in his skull. A voice, neither human nor Vor, whispered. "Jace Veldrin. You hear me now?" He collapsed, screaming, as something ancient stirred in the depths of Zeros, 9. The prison of the forgotten. The voice in the dark. Jace's skull felt like it was splitting. The voice, neither human nor Vor, scraped against his mind like claws on glass. "You hear me now, hybrid." He gasped, collapsing against the cave wall as his vision flickered between two worlds, the colonists' hideout and a pitch-black cell somewhere in deep space. A pair of luminous yellow eyes stared back from the darkness. Lyra grabbed his shoulders. "Jace! What's happening?" "Something's calling me," he rasped. Corix snarled, sensing the intrusion. "The Forgotten One. It lives." The flight to Solstice. Stealing a council ship wasn't easy, especially with Jace's body betraying him. His scales itched, his bones ached, and his pupils now slitted like Corix's in the dark. But they made it. The Solstice station loomed ahead, a jagged spire orbiting a hungry black hole. Scans showed no life signs, just automated defenses. "That's impossible," muttered Lyra. "This place held thousands of prisoners." Jace's implant pulsed. "Not anymore." The abomination cell. Inside, the station was a graveyard. Frozen corpses lined the halls, their faces twisted in terror. Security logs played their final moments. Containment breach, Subject Zeta-9 escaped. Warning, neural scanners detect, error, consciousness. Final order, lock all levels. Sacrifice personnel. At the core of the station, they found Subject Zeta-9's cell, a vault lined with dead scientists. And in the center, a humanoid figure, its skin shifting between flesh and liquid metal, smiled at Jace with too many teeth. "Ah! The Council's little killer. The truth about the Vor. Zeta-9 wasn't just another experiment. It was the first. They made your beasts from me," it crooned, circling Jace. "Took my DNA, my mind, and shattered it into 1,000 monsters." Corix growled, but Zeta-9 mimicked its voice perfectly. "You fear me, Alpha?" "You should." Lyra aimed her rifle. "What do you want?" Zeta-9's grin widened. "The same thing you do. To burn the Council down. The choice." Zeta-9 offered a deal, its power for Jace's loyalty. "Let me into your mind," it whispered. "Together, we'll make them scream." Jace's scales burned in agreement, but Corix's warning roared through their bond, "It lies. It is hunger, not justice." Then the station shuddered. The Council's fleet had arrived. Cliffhanger, the Black Hole Gambit. As alarms wailed, Zeta-9 liquefied into smoke and seeped into the station's vents. "You'll change your mind, hybrid," its voice echoed. "When your human half dies." Jace's nose bled black. His left hand was now fully scaled. Lyra grabbed him. "We have to go, now." But the hangar was swarming with Council mechs. Only one escape route remained, jumping into the black hole's ejection jet. A 1 in a million survival chance. Corix bared its teeth. "We fight." Jace looked at his half-transformed claws. "No. We fly." The Alpha's challenge. The blood pact. Corix's hot breath washed over Jace as the Vor Alpha circled him, its claws leaving smoldering tracks in the sand. The pack watched from the cliffs, their growls vibrating through the ground like a warning drumbeat. Jace kept his hands raised, his blood still dripping onto the crimson dunes. "You understand me, don't you?" he muttered, tapping his neural implant. The device hummed, emitting a subsonic pulse that made Corix's quicksilver scales ripple. The beast reacted instantly. It lunged, but instead of tearing Jace apart, it rammed its forehead into his chest, knocking him onto his back. A challenge. A test. Jace coughed, tasting copper. "Yeah. I deserve that." The colony's secret. As night fell, Corix led Jace through a maze of bioluminescent caves, the walls pulsing with eerie blue fungi. Deeper inside, Jace found the last colonists, not dead, but hiding. A dozen gaunt faces stared back at him from the shadows. "You're alive." Jace rasped. A woman with a scarred face stepped forward. Captain Lyra Vosk, former leader of the doomed expedition. "Barely." The council told you this planet was uninhabitable, didn't they? Jace nodded. It's a lie, she spat. 9 wasn't a failed colony, it was an experiment. They engineered the Vor as bioweapons. Then the beasts evolved, and turned on them. The neural bridge. Jace's implant wasn't just a tracker. It was a control prototype, designed to bond human and Vor minds. Lyra's scientists had tried for years to replicate it, until the council abandoned them. They sent you here to die, Lyra said. But if you can link with Coryx, we might survive. Jace looked at the Alpha, who bared its fangs in what might have been a smile. Fine, Jace said. Let's break the rules. The bonding ritual. The colonists jury-rigged a neural amplifier from scavenged tech. Jace lay on a stone slab, wires snaking from his implant to Coryx's skull. The risk? If their minds clashed, both would burn out. Ready? Lyra asked. Jace smirked. Do it. The pain was beyond anything he'd known. Fireworks of alien memories exploded behind his eyes, Coryx's first hunt, the scent of blood on the wind, the council ships raining fire on the Vor nests. But beneath the rage, something deeper, loneliness. The Vor weren't mindless killers. They were a species betrayed. The awakening. When Jace opened his eyes, the world was different. He could feel the pack's presence, their emotions humming in his skull like radio static. Coryx loomed over him, its thoughts clear as speech. You see now. Jace exhaled. Yeah. And we're gonna make them pay. Exile to hell. The drop pod's descent. Commander Jace Veldrin had survived 12 combat drops, but this one felt different. Not because of the turbulence, those 9's atmosphere shredded hulls like paper, but because this was no mission. The Galactic Council had stripped his rank, his name, even his humanity in their verdict, exile to 9, effective immediately. The screens inside his pod flashed warnings in cold, blue letters. Atmospheric toxicity, 98% lethal to human lifeforms. Predator activity, Class 10, extinction level threat. Colonist survival rate, 0, 3% beyond 48 hours. Jace smirked. They could have just shot me. First breath of poison. The pod cratered into crimson dunes, kicking up a storm of irradiated dust. Jace's military-grade respirator hissed, filtering just enough oxygen to keep him conscious. He unstrapped himself, muscles screaming from the impact, and stumbled into the wasteland. The sky was a sickly violet, swirling with acid storms. Scans showed no life, at least, none the pod sensors recognized. Then the ground rumbled. A pack approaches. From the jagged cliffs, 6 Vor emerged. Quicksilver-scaled, each stood taller than a war mech, their claws leaving smoldering gouges in the rock. But it was the Alpha that froze Jace's blood, Coryx, its spine-ridged back arched like a crown, eyes glowing with predatory intelligence. The pack fanned out, saliva dripping onto sand that sizzled where it landed. Jace's training screamed at him to fight. Instead, he dropped his rifle and raised his empty hands. I'm not your enemy, he rasped. Coryx snarled, a sound that vibrated in Jace's bones. Then it lunged. The trial by blood. Jace twisted, but Coryx's claws ripped through his armor, carving 4 burning furrows down his arm. Blood splattered the Alpha's snout. And something impossible happened. Coryx froze. Its nostrils flared, tasting Jace's blood. The pack let out a chorus of hisses, backing away. Jace's vision blurred, but not from pain, his cybernetic neural implant, a gift from the council after his court-martial, was pulsing, emitting a frequency that made the Vor's scales ripple like disturbed mercury. They weren't attacking. They were listening. Jace's realization. The council had lied. 9 wasn't a death sentence, it was a laboratory. His implant wasn't for pain suppression. It was a control node, designed to interface with the Vor. And Korix knew it. The Alpha lowered its head, a gesture neither human nor beast, but something new. A challenge. An offer. Jace wiped blood from his lips and grinned. Alright, you ugly bastard. Let's talk. This version expands the action, adds key reveals, and ends on a hook. If you want 5,000 words, I can extend it with colonist survivors hiding in the ruins. Flashbacks to Jace's betrayal. Korix's POV showing Vor culture. Let me know how you'd like to proceed.